too late, like, innit? But,
Right.
you know, West Brom. I don't know what's happened to West Brom, like, but
It's balmy, innit? Right, we're live now. To the Mackem Cabbie, Davey and Richie show. Davey says he might be along just to see how he's feeling. But at the moment, welcome. And we've already got people in the chat already. So who we've got? Trisha Winstanley and the Packer Andrew, Colin Major. Good evening to everybody. We'll catch up on the chat. Looks like you're having a conversation. Stephen Martin. He says, "How was that not a red card at Burnley?" I missed that, Stephen, because of the fact I was doing tea in the kitchen. Packer Andrew says, "Hey, I'll know where that was a red card. That last game, the referee needs to go to Specsavers." I think he's on about the Sunderland game against Bristol City. Packer Andrew says, "Well done you on 3.8k subs, mate. Well deserved. Thank you very much, mate. Good achievement, really good channel. Thank you, Packer. It's really nice to hear positive news." Tricia says, "Evening, everyone. I know we are all feeling deflated after another bad game, but keep the faith. We'll turn up for the playoffs." Good evening, David Walker. Tricia says, he says, "Hi, Cabbie and Rich." Tricia says, "Come on, Davey, we're all missing you." It's like he'll be back when he's back. He will be back when he's back. Let me just adjust my camera. That look a bit too zoomed out. Right, Richie, we'll start with you then. I mean, another defeat today. It just seems like we're going on and on and on. Are you concerned?
I am a little bit, yeah. But what I will say is, I don't know if anybody's actually seen Reggie's interview after the game. I'm not sure if anybody's watched it.
No.
He's basically turned around and said, these next two games, the mentality's going to change, and that's what he wants from the team now.
Right.
Which we all kind of said that, didn't we? That it might be a sort of like tactical thing where he might switch it up just before the playoffs. So he's pretty much confirmed that in the interview there. But whether that gets put into action or not, who knows? But I tell you what's worrying me the most, Cabbie, going forward is our attack. It's just so poor at the moment. And I know, yes, our attack hasn't been sort of supplied right. You know, the likes of Isidore and Roberts and Mayenda, etc., etc. Some games are not getting supplied properly, but at the same time, those guys really need to work on it, because I think if we do, then we are going to be strong going into the playoffs. So it is a little bit worrying at the minute. Just going off for form. I mean, looking at the form here, the last time we won a game was 4 games ago. Since then, we've drew, lost. Not by big goal margins either. It's been sort of like just the one goal in it. But at the same time, where's our product? You know what I mean? Where's our finishing? So that's what's worrying us, especially after tonight. I've been watching Sheffield United and Burnley play each other, and there's a heck of a difference between us and them. But I just hope what Reggie says in that interview is true, and he's going to be working on things and changing the mentality of the team, because I tell you what, we really need to. Going into the playoffs on this form is just awful, Cabbie. I don't know what you think about that, like.
I'm kind of exactly split 50-50. Ian Brown's just popped in. Hello, Ian. He says, "Congrats on 3.8k subscribers. No other son on YouTube posts videos daily and keeps us updated, so you're doing a great job." Oh, thanks for that, Ian. I just hope I'm not overdoing it, doing your head in, but I do try my best. Ian Brown says, "Well said, Mara," says Tricia. Bristolian Mackem, "Hello, mate." He says, "It's worrying, but hopefully we'll bear the fruit."
Yeah.
David Walker, he says, "All 4 playoff teams got beat today." Yeah, they certainly did, which is the thing. Now, you were saying, what do I think about like today? I'm kind of like split like down the middle. It's like I'm kind of numb. I mean, usually I'm absolutely devastated or gutted after every defeat. But it kind of feels weird because the fact we've consolidated fourth position now, it confirms that with Bristol City losing. I hope these are tactics. I mean, they have to be, because you can't tell me we're that bad. I mean, we've gone from like... Well, I just can't describe our performances. It's just like, do I say they're not bothered, or... It's just like pre-season, isn't it? It's just like pre-season game. I mean, in a way, it's almost a shame that we have consolidated ourselves for the playoffs, because if we'd been fighting for a playoff space, we actually might start seeing Sunderland playing football. It's a gamble. I mean, Isidore, 10 games now without a goal.
11 now.
11 now. It's not looking good if you were to sort of want momentum. I mean, I can't see Sunderland getting a win from now till the end of the season. If you ask me, I think they're going to carry this trend on. Oxford away and to QPR home. But my God, it's a real risky thing what Regis Lebrie's doing. Because my God, we better see a performance in the playoffs. He's putting pressure on himself by doing this. Because if he doesn't, and we're as bad the last 4 games as what we're as bad in these playoffs than we have been in the last 4 games, then I can see the Sunderland fans shouting for his head. I really, really can. Now I know Sunderland. I know people can say, "Well, we've finished 4th off top. What's the matter with you?" But they want to see progress, and this second half of the season, especially with signings, it hasn't really been, has it? It's only because of that amazing beginning of the season. That's the reason where we are now. So what do you reckon to that, Rich? Do you reckon Regis Lebrie's putting himself under pressure by playing this, take the foot off the gas, because he's got to make sure he does it when it's time to play, isn't it?
It's a dangerous game to play, like Cabbie, isn't it? Because he must be seeing something else that we're not seeing. You know what I mean? Or he's had meetings with players and telling them basically what it is and what he wants from them. But yeah, if we put in poor performances in the playoff and we get knocked out in the semis, especially if we have a first bad game and we put ourselves under extreme pressure going into the second game, there's going to be a lot of questions asked, and it is going to turn very sort of nasty towards them. We're going to be looking for somebody to blame, because we have to point the finger at somebody, whether it be the likes of Speakman or Lebray, or is it the players. It's somebody's going to get it if we don't. I don't know, Cabbie. It's just I can't understand it. Why would they take the foot off the gas? But then we've got like 40,000 odd supporters there. You know what I mean? Just expecting to put in a shift. Just put in a shift and try your best. And we haven't had that as fans. And I genuinely feel sorry for people today at the match again. I mean, I was at the Swansea game when we got beat 1-0, and it was still a bit of a negative atmosphere. There was just nothing, you know what I mean, apart from people kicking off here. And I can't imagine what it was like today. But can we point the finger at Reggie? I mean, I don't know. He's done really, really well this season. He's up for obviously the Manager of the Season award, and he's managed with a squad that's cost barely pittance compared to some other teams like Leeds and Burnley and teams around with. So he has done well in that aspect. But if he's just coming out saying, I've got a plan, and we're going to change it from now, and nothing happens, then we're going to be saying, right, hello, mate, are you pulling the leg here? Like, or did you have a plan all along, or was it just something that you were told to say by the club? I can't make it up, Cabbie. I don't know.
It's a funny one. And I think a lot of Sunderland fans are sort of waiting for bated breath kind of thing. Tricia says, I watched it as well, Richie, and the standard of the players really puts us to shame. And she also says, never in a million years have they deteriorated that badly. What is going on? Collins says, watch the Burnley game and all the presenters talked about is about momentum, something we haven't got going into the playoffs. Trisha also says, Colin Major, the momentum and pace in that game was unreal. Stephen Jones says, only won 3 games since August by more than 1 goal. Colin also says, I think Regis should go if we don't make the Premiership because I think all that good work will be wasted. Stephen says, apart from the first 5 games, we have not really dominated any games, just spells in games. I mean, it has been, a mixed bag, but I mean, he's not doing himself any favours. I mean, I can't remember getting off my seat today, getting excited by any chances at all. And to be honest with you, I don't think Blackburn were all that. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they were all that, but I heard the boos at full time. It's a $1 million question, isn't it? Would we see a different Sunderland side if we weren't consolidating the playoffs, if we were in the same shoes as Bristol City, Millwall, Coventry, etc.? I don't know, it's just risky. It's just, I can see the Sunderland fans' concern, to be quite honest with you. And to be honest with you, you didn't blame him. I mean, whether it's a friendly, call it what you want. I've always said, I always want my team to win. No matter what's at stake. If it's a kickabout in the park or whatever, Sunderland are playing, I want Sunderland to win. I always do. Because I'm a Sunderland fan. But at the minute, it's like the Stadium of Light is just a pay take. It's like any team can come to Stadium of Light at the minute and just roll us over. And it's not good enough. If you ask me that, it's just far from it. Mm-hmm. And we've just had news as well that Tony Mowbray has been sacked by West Brom.
Oof, okay.
After poor championship run. That has surprised me, that mind. I mean, goodness me.
I mean, West Brom have only won 1 game in the last 6. I'm just going off the form guide here. That's what happens in football these days now, doesn't it? I mean, they were very, very close to getting into the playoffs and they were fighting for it. Now they're not going to get it. So can you blame the club really for sacking them? Because I think that would happen at any club, really, wouldn't it, Cabbie?
It's weird, isn't it?
He's a good manager, Mowbray, but yeah.
I think the problem with Tony Mowbray, I think he had too many clubs in a short space of time. Obviously, it didn't help with his illness. Of course, it didn't. But West Brom and then Sunderland, Birmingham, West Brom. He's not been able to get a steady flow going, has he?
No.
It has surprised us. That I've got to say that it has surprised us. I'm just going to try and get the because they had a bad defeat today. That was a bad defeat. I mean, it's not good reading. When was Tony Mowbray appointed as West Brom manager? Do you know?
Oh.
If you're wondering why we're talking about West Brom, by the way, I know it's a Sunderland channel, but former Sunderland manager Tony Mowbray has been sacked by West Brom, and that's why we're bringing it up. Such a popular figure, Tony Mowbray, on your side as well. I'm trying to think when he was appointed.
Sort of October, sort of November time, maybe. It was when he come back from his illness, wasn't it? So it wasn't at the start of the season. I know that.
Well, I'll go back from the 12th of February. They lost 2-0 at home to Blackburn. And then the next game, they drew 1-1 away to Millwall. They picked up a win 2-0 against Oxford. Then they drew a decent result 1-1 away to Leeds. They then beat QPR 1-0. So it was a kind of win-draw. And then they drew a decent point away to Burnley 1-1. And then they got a draw against Hull. They lost away to Norwich, and then they lost at home to us, Sunderland. And then they lost away to Bristol City. They picked up a win against Watford 2-1. They lost against Coventry, and they got a really bad defeat at home against Derby. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They've lost 5, won 1. I mean, it's not good reading, is it? It isn't. It's a shame, but
No.
it is a results business. And I'm just going to quickly go onto the form guide here. So Swansea are top of the league when it comes to the current form, followed by Leeds, Burnley, Millwall, Blackburn. Sunderland are way down 17th. West Brom a third. They're third, so they have really dropped. Who do you think's bottom of the form league? You'll never guess. Who do you think's bottom of the form league in the Championship? Out of 5 games.
Oh God, I wouldn't know unless I look at it. Let's have a look.
Norwich City.
Norwich, yeah, I was just going to say, is it Norwich?
That's mental,
Yeah.
isn't it? I don't know where Eddie Bamber is. He said he was coming on tonight as well, didn't he?
Aye. Might have had a few sherbets at the match, man.
Probably needing a few more. Right, we're going to catch up on the chat. Well, we're going to catch up where we are. Tricia says that goal what Miendo scored in the other match against Bristol was nothing short of genius, so we do have the potential. Ian Brown says Regis has gone for a gamble, not playing the momentum card. I've never seen a manager going down Regis's route. It is a strange one. Either the Sunderland fans are just trying to hang on to anything positive about this bad run, because that's the only excuse the fans are coming up with, or because we've consolidated. We're hoping it is, because if it isn't, then it's a damn bloody worry, isn't it? Bristolian Mackem says, we should get as the manager then, if Regis doesn't get us up, Dodds, give over. I don't expect to go up. Teams not ready yet, but hope we do. Sunderland pods, all right. Good to see you. He says Isidore should have scored in the first half, and he missed a clear-cut opportunity when he nearly put it into the bottom corner. He's missing far too many, isn't he? He's really going down the pecking order at the minute. David Joblin says Sunderland of Beach, Sheffield United in the playoffs at Wembley by Chris Whizzer. Stephen Jones says if we do play well in the playoffs, we will be happy. Tony Mowbray, was appointed in January as well. But there was a couple of players today, wasn't there, that surprised you? That was in the squad today. And they've had some quite glowing reports as well.
Yeah, I thought Harrison Jones in the first half especially had a good game. Full of energy. He was playing what Chris Riggs normally plays, so he was sitting behind Isidore today. And I thought he was good. I thought he put in a really, really good performance today, especially for what his second or third appearance starting for the team. So that's positive that we've got some, youth players coming through from our academy showing passion and showing a bit of desire as well. And I will say it as well. I mean, Tommy Watson, for all the hate that he's been getting over the past weeks, I don't think he had a bad game today. He delivered a few decent balls into the box. I remember, I think it was one in the second half, he delivered an absolutely whipped ball across the 6-yard box, and all it needed was just a toe off Isidore or somebody else just to get the ball into the net, So, yeah, give him a bit of credit today, I think, Tommy. I mean, apart from that, there wasn't really any sort of like outstanding performances. I mean, Job had a better second half than he did in the first half. He was very quiet in the first half, but second half he was getting stuck into his tackles. He looked a bit more fired up. And then obviously we had Lafay coming on. He delivered a few decent balls again. So I think what it is, Cabbie, is I think we need to get like I said to you last time, is get this first team out now for the next 2 games and get them to gel, get them to bond, get them to find, who's what and where on the pitch, and just build that word, momentum. These next 2 games, we need to build momentum. yes, we're worried about injuries and things like that, but we've got to get the lads gel together. And I think that'll be a big positive. But I just don't know who's going to score these goals for Cabbie. I just don't know. It's just
Well, son and manager Regis Labrie has apparently told BBC Radio Newcastle that the energy was largely positive. The way we played, he says, obviously disappointing result. The opponent had a specific plan, only 2 shots on 1 goal. They were efficient, and it wasn't the case for us. It's now a question of mindset, energy, ambition, and desire. Even with 7 changes, the team was fluid, but it's more in the head than tactics. He says, we weren't smooth in the final third. This part of the pitch is the most difficult to get right. Alan says, what is this fellow? What planet is this fellow on? We were rubbish, and we've been rubbish for weeks. And Alan replies to that and says, "That's a poor comment. What planet are you on?" So there's mixed reviews on that one. Of course, I'm just going to try and get the player ratings up now. We'll do the player ratings. So Anthony Patterson got 6 out of 10. He had nothing to do apart from picking the ball out the back of the net. Alan Brown, another 6 out of 10. He was okay defending right at the back. Chris Meffam also got a 6. Steady at the back without really being stretched. Luke O'Nine, 6 out of 10, same as Meffam. Most of the game he was spreading the ball wide with very little defending to do. Joe Anderson also got a 6 out of 10. Didn't look out of place at left back, but didn't provide much support going forward. Abdul Samed says he got 6 out of 10. Thought he protected the back 4 well with a few interceptions. Joe got 7 out of 10. Worked really hard in and out of possession and really tried to make something happen. Harrison Jones is tidy on the ball when we managed to get him around the Blackburn box. Played a nice ball over the top for Isidore to volley wide. Milan Lesic, it says some bright spots here and there, but not a constant threat. A couple of good crosses though, one just missing Jones at the back. Tommy Watson, an improved performance, but like the rest of his teammates, was just missing that sharpness around the box. Isidore got a 5 out of 10. Looks down on his luck at the moment, had a few half chances, like an early chance that almost squirmed in. The volley from Jones, ball over the top, or a snapshot from Lesic cross, but really struggling to get involved in the games at the minute. So a typical middle of the road sort of scores out of 10 there. I'm not surprised at that. It was slightly better. Tony Briery, hello lads, how are you doing? He's the dart player, Tony Briery. The old dog fleeces. Christ, these messages are coming thick and fast. David Walker says Regis Labrie did say he would rest some today. Ollie says, how many times has Ben Middlemas been on the bench and we haven't used him? Tony Priory says, hello lads, how you doing, Tony Priory? The dart play, I love it. Tricia Winstanley, was Regis Labrie at another game with what he says? Ian says, so easy to tell the fee apart from an average championship. So easy to tell the fee apart from an average championship player. And we'll lose him if we didn't. That's the thing. And Mackem Dave says, hello lads, hello Cabbie. I live in Oxford and all their fans are rubbing their hands expecting a win against us, knowing how we are approaching the games recently. But like I say, if you look at the results today, I mean, who would expect it? Oh well, Coventry City getting beat off Plymouth. But Plymouth, they are decent at home. And then Bristol City, and they got well beaten today as well. So it just goes to show you, any team really is capable of beating one another if you're on form. Sheffield United, if they hadn't lost them 3 in the bounce, they'd be fighting for top 2. And they lost some stinkers. So on your day, you're capable, well and capable of beating anyone. And I keep saying this as well. 99% of sport as well. It's not just physical. It's mental. How you approach games. Coventry City, for some reason, they're well up when they play Sunderland. Mentally, there's a switch that gets turned on in their head when Sunderland play Coventry. The Coventry players can, they turned on. They're ready to go. That wasn't on today against Plymouth because they're not as hyped up. It's Plymouth, the bottom of the league, and that affects a lot of teams when you're playing a low league team. You turn your mental attitude on, and you want it more. You're virtually impossible to beat. And it's a case of, will Sunderland do that in the playoffs because they've got no switch to turn on Sunderland at the minute. The fact they've left I think there's been some sort of power cut. Never mind a switch to be turned on. It's been that dire. Gary Hoyle, hello Gary. Good to see you. He says, one word, Cabbie. He says, pathetic. Blackburn were there for the taking. He says, no passion, no cutting edge, no ambition. 2 shots on target all game. And he says, that is an absolute shambles. Rich, can you take any positives? I mean, we're all going on, aren't we? Moan at the moment. Is there any positives you can take out of anything? Let's say, since the Norwich game. Because all the Sunderland fans are doom and gloom, which I can understand because we have been naff.
Well, I guess we haven't conceded many. I mean, the games have only been, 1-0 sort of, from what I remember, yeah. We haven't conceded any more than sort of like 1 goal, I don't think. I might be wrong in saying that, but I don't think we have. So that's a little bit of a positive, that we're not getting absolutely slaughtered with goals. I think positively, I like our defence. I think when Trey Hume comes back, and obviously when Dennis Certain comes back, I think we're going to have an absolute rock solid defence going into the playoffs, in my opinion. Because I think Mackem made a mistake today, which contributed to their goal. But let's be honest, Chris Mackem doesn't often make mistakes, and Luke O'Nien is a workhorse, and he'll do anything in that box to get that ball out. We've all seen his antics, you know what I mean? He's great, but I'm very positive about the defending. And I think another good positive things as well is I think we're lucky to have the players that we have got, and they're not injured. So the likes of like Joe Bellingham, he's a massive miss when he's not playing, and obviously I think, with him being out injured, he had a little knock and he missed a couple of games for, and now we've got him back. Again, we just need to get him in form, but I think having him fit in that midfield is a positive. I'm liking, like I've just said, I like that. I'm liking the look of Harrison Jones. I thought today he put in a really good shift today. Like I said, he's got some desire and he's got some heart that you can see that he wants to do well for the team and contribute to the team doing well. And I don't know. I'm just not impressed with the likes of Paddy Roberts, Isidore. I mean, Mayenda, yes, he scored a worldie goal last week. I can't take that away from the lad. You know what I mean? That was unbelievable what he's done. But apart from that, Mayenda hasn't really done much. He comes and goes. You know what I mean?
Was he injured today? Because is he all right? I presume he is.
I don't know, Cabbie. I've never heard anything.
No,
so
I've not heard anything
he's
either.
All right as well. And it's just the attack, Cabbie. It's like if Mundo isn't fit to come back and play in the playoffs, who we're going to play on that left-hand side is a massive concern. Personally, myself, I can see him playing the three there, and obviously keep Rigg, Job, and Dan Neil in the midfield and play the three out on the left, because he wasn't that bad when he was playing there for you know what I mean? He's still quality on that left-hand side, cutting in. And I think that might be a little bit better to help Isidore or Mayenda up top, just a little bit of support. Plus, you'll have Chris Rigger's support there as well. So, I can't say anything positive about the forward line. Sorry, Cabbie, but I will give you the defence. I'm just impressed. I'm just impressed that even though we're not doing well at the minute, we're still putting in the shift, at the back.
Yeah, good point. On the chat, says Ian says a positive is the games are going down game by game, closer to the playoffs. That's the players and Labree's mentality. He says, must play Ballard and Meffam at the back as much as I love 09. Ollie says, look, this time last season we were about 16th and we were going on about the playoffs. People think it's the end of the world when we lose, but it's not. No, it's not. I mean, we are 4th. We're not going to finish any lower than 4th. You are right looking at that side of things, Ollie. John Nesbitt, good evening, good to see you. He says, evening boys, just back from that crap today. Forget the playoffs, we are a shambles, he says, of the coach standing on the sidelines, doing as he's told by Speakman, who in my opinion is running the show. And Tricia says, Ollie, I said earlier in the stream that regardless whether we go up or not, we will still be die-hard fans. Of course we will. Ian Brown says, I agree with Richie, goals are needed. It's a good thing we aren't versus Burnley in the final. I'm just looking at a post online as well. Regis Labrie has pledged to play his strongest lineup for Sunderland's final 2 games of the regular championship season as he feels the time arrived to switch to playoff mode. And the responses to that are saying, champion then, says Neil, can I have a refund for the last 2 games, please? Darryl says, we can beat any team in this league with our best team. Just need to come together, right? And I do agree. Bradley says it makes complete sense. He says he used a few games for minutes to lads who don't get many, but could be important in the case of an injury. He's rested lads who have played well all season, tinkered here and there, and still got 2 games to play his full strength. I mean, if I was Regis, I wouldn't. They've got to have a run out. They've got to have a run out. You can't argue that one. 1 iota. It's the risk, isn't it? I mean, they've got to get minutes on the pitch. Because you didn't want them gone rusty, but at the same time you didn't want injuries either. So it's getting that balance, isn't it? Getting that balance right. As far as I'm concerned, but what's the chance of Serkin should be back? Is it? I mean, do you know what? I've lost track of like the players that are fit and injured and stuff. It's like, what's happening with Mundle? Do you know what's happened with Mundle? Because it's been very quiet. That is he still a no-show? Have you out, Richie? Have you heard out about Mundle?
Not a thing, mate. Never seen anything. I did that. I don't think he'll be back for the playoffs. I mean, if he is, he'd probably be on the bench. But I certainly hope he is, because we need that pace. I mean, if we could even if he's on the bench, we can bring him on. You know what I mean? Using that pace in the second half of games might be absolutely, something that we definitely need. But not sure on Mundle, but I have seen that Certain is pretty much certain that he's going to be back for the playoffs, and he might be back for the QPR game. I don't know whether he'll be back for Oxford, but I did see a little thing saying it's more than likely for QPR. I'm just trying to think. Aji Elise, I don't think he's back at all.
I think he's for Forest 2-0 up against sad Spurs, by the way. Aji Elise, he break a bit of his leg or something without even getting tackled or so. I don't know. He's definitely not coming back. We all know that for certain.
Bollard's supposed to be back as well, he's supposed to be back. I'm not sure whether he's going to be back next weekend or the weekend after, but I know it's before the playoffs that they're trying to get him back. But I can't see him starting Ballard. I think you'll keep him on the bench. I think you'll just keep Meffam in 09 for the playoffs.
Because there's not the last game of the season. How many days do we have to wait before the first leg of the playoffs starts? It's not that long, is it? Because obviously they can't leave it too long of a gap, because you've got to keep your players sharp, and there's still a lot of games to be played with all the playoffs to fit in. Is it like a 2-week wait at the end of the season? Week and a half, 2 week?
I'm gonna have a look now.
I'll just read some comments while you have a look. It says, Mackem Dave says, let's be honest, guys. There's lots of teams that would love to be in our position right now. We are still in charge of our own destiny. No, you're totally right, Dave. And I've said it before, and I was on the stream today. The fact we could have easily been the other teams below us scrapping. Imagine the anxiety they're going through because they're not guaranteed the playoffs. Well, we are. So we are in a better position, 100%. Ollie says, I would have given Ben Middlemiss a chance. Mackem Dave says, let's be honest, guys. Oh, I've already read that, sorry. David Walker, Mundell's supposed to be back for the playoffs. I do hope so. We are a different side with him in board. Like Gary Hoyle says, what happened to that mid-season form, the free-flowing football we were playing? It's not there. I can't help feeling pessimistic for the playoff semis. I hope I'm wrong. Ollie said, season ticket holders have just 3/4 of the season because the last 4 or 5 home games, I think if we lose the last 2 games, season ticket holders should get half price on the Wembley ticket. When is Ballard back? Possibly. I think it is going to be for the playoffs. David Walker says, last game on Saturday, then the first game on the Friday after, I think, Richard, says David Walker.
All right, okay. It's not very clear on here, like.
Yeah.
12 for me, I've got here. I think that's the return leg.
Just looking at the league table now, we're exactly 10 points behind. I mean, we're on 76 points. Leeds and Burnley 94. Just goes to show you how far ahead they are, like, isn't it? That's nearly 20 points. I mean, that's ridiculous. And do you know what? They'll probably come crashing back down next season. That's the stupidest thing about it.
So going back to the playoffs, so we play QPR on the Saturday at 12:30, but our first game's on the Friday, and then the return leg must be on the Tuesday.
Right, yeah.
I think that's how it is. So it's only a week. I mean, that's better than waiting 2 weeks, isn't it?
And as it stands, it's still Sunderland against Bristol City. It's anyone between Blackburn, Millwall, Middlesbrough, Coventry, West Brom are definitely out of it. I'm just going to have a look at the... because it's just getting tidier and tidier by the minute, isn't it? These results, these games coming up, it's going to be a right tasty one. These games coming up because there's so much at stake. So Middlesbrough, they're playing bottom form team Norwich on the 26th at home, and then of course Coventry Middlesbrough. That's going to be a decider and all. Oh, that's going to be tasty, that, like, in it. That's going to be absolutely mental. Coventry's fixtures, they've got an away tie to Luton. So, and I believe that is a 12:30 kickoff, and so is the last game of the season, 12:30 kickoff. Maybe it's ours is, I don't know.
Yeah, it is. On the last game of the season, it is, aye.
Is it? Yeah, Oxford 3 o'clock and then 12:30 kickoff, last game of the season against QPR.
Hey, you'd be kicking yourself if you were Luton today, because obviously Luton's won, but Derby won, and Hull City, who are above them, have won today as well. You know what I mean? So,
I think Hull only drew today, unless you're right. Let's have a look. No, they did win. You're right. You won 2-1. Yeah. Joe Gelhardt scored a penalty in the 67th minute, yeah.
Class.
That's mental. Absolutely.
That's just typical. That's what would you call sod's law for Luton, not like.
That's the way it goes. I mean, how many times this season Sheffield United screw up? I mean, and we couldn't capitalise earlier on. That's the way it happens. It's because everybody's mentally thinking the same thing, you see. They're all scrapping for their lives at the bottom, so they're all wanting to put in performances. that's why I found it very strange today. Bristol City, Coventry and Middlesbrough all lost. I think it's like there's none of them want the playoffs. I thought that was strange, especially Coventry. I don't know. I mean, look, Millwall and Blackburn could replace Coventry, and Bristol City. Perhaps it's weird. There's a lot battling it out. There's going to be some twists and turns between 5th and 9th. There's going to be a lot of places getting swapped, I would say. Steve Taylor says, hi guys, there's talk Huggins might be back for the playoffs. Very much doubt it. Yeah, he's been virtually off all season. John Nesbitt says, Cabbie, it's now time to question the ownership along with Speakman. He says, they are not committed. If they were, we'd have brought players in January. Their days are numbered for sure. What do you think about John Nesbitt's comment there, Richie?
Yeah, it's a fair point, yeah. It was a poor January transfer window. I mean, we did bring in Lafay and we did sign Isidore permanently. I mean, that was two good things to come out of it. But yeah, it was poor. We needed a striker, and we've taken a chance on a young lad from Liverpool, and it's backfired on me. I don't like we said, I don't particularly blame Sunderland for that. But was there somebody better out there? I don't know. And it goes back to the old, the argument, and I said to you earlier today on the live stream, and I know I've said it in past broadcasts, but personally, myself, in my opinion, don't get us wrong, Lafay is absolutely world class, and he's class to have one in the team. And I just think, could that money that was spent on Lafay, like the wages, especially, and maybe whatever fees have come along with it, could have not just tried to get a striker in instead. It's a hard decision to sort of decide, because, like I said, Lafay's world class. You know what I mean? He's absolute quality. He's leagues above what we are as a club. But I think we've missed out on getting a striker in, and I think that's where it's hurting we're now. And I do think it was a little bit of a big, well, not a little bit, but a bit of a big mistake on that front for not getting one in. I mean, don't know how you feel on that, Cabbie, but
Stephen Clark just says, He says, question the board. He says, we have 76 points in the league. We have a very good manager. If we go to the Prem, that when we will see how committed they will be, said Stephen Clark. I've seen mixtures. I've seen people say that, and I have seen a lot of fans messaging me and all that, questioning about the board, mainly the January transfer window, because that was a shambles.
We needed a striker, Cabbie. Yes, we've got my hand on Isidore, but we needed somebody else. I would say
I think because of the fact Isidore was red hot on form, and I think they maybe sort of settled, we've got Isidore, that's fine, we don't need a striker. Could that have been the case of it? Which, I don't bloody know.
It's a difficult one, isn't it? I mean, Stephen said in his comment there, he is right in his comment and what he said. I mean, they have done better than what they have done in previous seasons. I totally agree with that, but I just think we've taken too many chances on players we shouldn't have. I mean, Jayden Dan's, I don't think it was our fault, but there must have been something there, you know what I mean, where they thought they might take a chance on him. I just don't know. But
Gary Hoyle says the Lampard effect for Coventry has dried up. He says, great player, but has yet to be proved as a capable boss. As long as Coventry are City in the playoffs, I'm not saying out, because they could still get promoted. They could still do us over. They're still in it, but they have had some iffy results recently, but they're still in a shout with the playoffs. And as long as Coventry are in a shout, they still could be an absolute thorn in Sunderland's side. So I'm not saying out.
I can't see Coventry in the playoffs. Personally, I can see Borough. That's just what I reckon. I just think Borough, I don't know. I've just got a feeling that they will. I mean, they're only 3 points difference and 2 games to go, and Borough's got a five goal difference on Coventry. But I've just got a sneaky suspicion that we won't see Coventry in the playoffs.
The funny thing is because you never know which team's going to turn up every week in the Championship. I would never have predicted Bristol City, Coventry, Middlesbrough all losing today. All against sort of lower opposition: crazy. Luton, Sheffield Wednesday, and Plymouth. I mean, it's just mental. You just don't know what side's going to turn up. I know when Middlesbrough play Coventry, they'll want revenge because Coventry beat Middlesbrough at the Riverside in the playoff second leg. They went through and they knocked Middlesbrough out, and of course Coventry lost to Luton Town in the playoff final, if you remember. So John Nesbitt says Lefay has been messed about since he arrived, played out of position to accommodate a 17-year-old. All very baffling, head scratcher. Dale says, we are utter crap. He says 3 losses in the run-up is no good. He says the management are fearful of promotion. It is so bad. I mean, would you be really fearful of promotion? I mean, whether you get ransacked, you get absolutely blown to bits in the Premier League. Any businessman cannot really refuse that windfall of cash coming in, can you, being in the Premier League? Surely not. But I said before, but my God, if we did get the Premier League, we've got some work to do with the side. And Speakman and co have not even touched the sides of being tested about they're capable of signing good players, because they cannot muck about. If they're in the Premier League, they cannot be going around saying, we'll get the bargain basements and we'll get a few young lads and stuff. It's a completely different ball game. A completely different ball game.
Like the Ukrainian leagues and stuff like that, you know what I mean? I mean, let's say, Cabbie, though, let's say, for instance, we did go up in the playoffs, right? We're going to get, say, a nice figure of 100 million, roughly, in it, round about that figure.
Aye.
Let's say a percentage of that's going to be put back into transfers. So let's say 75% of that's going to get put into transfers. So we've got 75 million to buy players in. I'm telling you now, it's not easy. That 75 million will probably buy with, if we want to go for quality, about 4 players, maybe it's 5 at a push.
Mm-hmm. And we've said before, how many players in our current squad do you think will be Premier League quality? And there ain't that many, to be quite honest with you. You know, Ballard, yeah. Mackem, yeah. I would say Lefay, yeah. Meyenda, possibly. He's got these qualities. Isidore, I don't think so.
Not as a centre forward.
No.
As an attacking winger, yes, but not as a centre forward. No way. That's where we need to spend the majority of our money. I don't know whether 09 might cut it in the Premier League. I'm not sure about that. As much as I hate to say that, I don't think he would.
No, I don't think
Trey Hume and I think Trey Hume and Dennis Certain would have a good go at it.
I do think so.
Trey Hume. Job, if Job stays with me, I think he might start coming along. You know what I mean? He might start becoming and developing a better player, playing at a better standard.
Ollie says, imagine. Ollie says, imagine Isidore and Meyenda scored a goal every game this season, where we would be. Dale also says, with this bad run of form, he says it's not positive for the players either. John says, well said, Dale, totally agreed. He says, we're going nowhere fast. Stephen Clark says, I'm actually pleased Regis Lebree now said time for playoff mode in his interview, which says they have been testing players. John Nesbitt says, the head coach looked a very sad looking man today. There is definitely something wrong at this club. Isidore was terrible today, and that's what John is saying. There's a few fans beginning to say there's something not right at the club, you know, but we're 4th off top, lads and lasses. We're 4th off top. You know, I think we can only judge what happens. Look, even if we didn't make the playoffs, if we drastically go off and we don't even make it to Wembley, and let's say we get thumped, whoever we play in the first leg, 3 or 4 out or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Then you can sort of pass sort of judgment. But until then, I'm not going to judge until whatever's happened after the playoffs. But you will still say, well, we'll finish 4th. And I'll ask you a lot in the chat, if we didn't get promoted this season, would you say it's been a positive season because we've finished 4th? Yeah, out of 24 teams. Can you look back and say, well, we finished 4th. We seem to be going places because we're at the right end of the table. Gary says, what will be, guys. We've been here so many times before, and it's not a nice position to be in, as our nerves will be shot to bits. All heads know what to expect, and is a conundrum. Do you know what? I'm not going to be that nervous, to be quite honest with you. I'm just going to take it, go with the flow. What will be, will be. But try asking me that when it's a penalty shootout in the playoff final. Oh my God.
Wembley. Oh no, whatever it'll be to be today, man. I'm not bothered.
My God.
I tell you what, I'm nervous. Like, it's starting to build. I mean, it'll get worse in the next couple of weeks. Like, but I just want to see what happens in the Premier League. I mean, even if we get thumped every week next week, I mean, fair enough, whatever, you know what I mean? It's to be expected. But you never know. Look what happened to Bournemouth and Brighton. They come up.
Brentford,
the same as
Wolves, you know what I mean?
So why not? Why don't we just go and have a go next season and see what happens? And if we come down, we know we're going to get a nice big wedge of money to rebuild and then have another successful season in the Championship. So there isn't, I mean, not going up the season. I mean, it is negative, but we've got to look at the positives that might come from that as well. You know what I mean? So I'm just gutted. We've lost 3 games in a row. That's just what it is with me. I'm just deflated at the minute. But if Reggie's saying what he has said today, I'm expecting something big against Oxford. Even though we're away from home, I want to see his plan now. I want to see his team that he wants to play, and I want to see exactly the same against QPR as well. And I don't think personally I'll accept anything less from it. If we go against Oxford and we've got a mismatched team like we have these past few games, and we're sitting back and just counter-attacking, where's the improvement there? It's the same thing. I want to see one on the front foot.
He's got to give the big uns a run out. You just have to. You've got no. It's a gamble. It's a Russian roulette, and we just pray to God that there isn't any injuries. But they do need a run out. Look at they don't need to play hell for leather. Do you know what I mean? Just keep the fitness up. That's what they need to do. Get match time in them. I know it sounds daft, but didn't go in for any risky 50-50 leg breaking challenges and stuff, because I mean our playoffs will be over if we lose Meander or LeFair and things like that. You know, put the effort in, but you can put the effort in without trying to break players' legs. Do you know what I mean? There's a way to do it. Mackem Mike, hello Mackem, you alright? He says Meffin, Meander, Ballard, Hume, LeFair and Job fit for the Prem. He says that's the lot and they need work. Stephen Clark says if we don't get promoted, he says I can see a total rebuild in the summer. John 73 says that's the magic of the Championship. He says unpredictability, unlike the predictability of the Prem, the Arsenal, the Man Cities, etc. I do get you. I do get you on that one. Stephen Clark says I'll put my letter in to take a pen. I'm just having an update on the. It's still 2-0 Nottingham Forest, and it's half time. Oh, Forest are at Tottenham. I didn't realise that. That makes it things worse.
Spurs,
John Nesbitt says, "Look, we all hope we get through the playoffs. I'm just commenting on what I'm witnessing right now, and it's not good viewing." John, everybody's entitled to an opinion, mate. You can say what you want. Nobody's got to get the huff. It would be a boring world if we didn't have opinions, wouldn't it? Stephen says, I think he has to play those players to see who to keep and who to leave in the summer for next season. Mac and Mike, he says, we need a take-off game prior to playoffs to improve morale. And what better chance have you got there playing QPR at home. Mackem Dave says, if someone told you this time last year we would finish 4th this season, you'd be well happy. Let's try to be positive. And yeah, you're 100% right. But the proper way really to do it, if you want to get into the Premier League, is the top 2. Imagine how good Burnley and Leeds feel right now. They don't have to worry about the playoffs. Do you know what I'm saying? So we've got 3 minutes left of the show. We'll quickly talk about the next game, Oxford away. A few people in the chat, what do you want to put your predictions for the Oxford game away? Richie, what do you reckon?
Oh, caveat, like I've just said, I want to see a big difference. I want to see we're playing on the front foot and actually having a go at them. So I would love to see like a 2-0 win. I'll be very happy with that, even a 1-0 win, just as long as we win and somebody scores a goal from open play. That's all I want to do. I don't want goals from corners and all this all the time. Just somebody to score from open play would be nice. So maybe a 2-0, I think, Cabbie. What about yourself, mate?
Oh, crikey. I'm going to go for a 1-1.
Cabbie, man, come on.
I know.
Win.
I want to see us. Of course, I want us to win every game, but just the way we're poised, the being cautious, just didn't get beat. Do you know what I mean? If we draw Oxford, yeah, it's not a massive class result, but it's better than a defeat, and it'll stop that rot of the. We didn't win 4 defeats on the trot. Steve Clark says 3-1 to Sunderland. He says, I just hope Regis Labrie has his full team out, like he said, get the momentum going. Packer says 3-1 to Sunderland. Mackem Dave says 2-1 win for the lads. I know I sound pessimistic saying 1-1, but I'm just being cautious because of the playoffs and stuff. And Ollie says my lineup for SAFC Oxford. He says formation 4-3-3. He says prediction. He says 2-0 to Sunderland with Mienda with 2 goals. Pat O'Hugh, Meffin 09, Leo, Neil, Job, Lefay, Roberts, Isidore, Mienda. He says away the lads. Well, that's about the end of the show. Richie, cheers for joining in. John Nesbitt says, good evening. He says 4-0 to the lads. There you go. Gary Hoyle says, the season is not over yet and we're being linked with players already. Unbelievably. He says, a German youth international is being mentioned again. No, the goal is promotion, not to finish off the medals. So, Richie, thanks for tuning in. Thanks everybody in the chat as well. 30 people watching, which is brilliant considering there's a Premier League game on. So thanks to Richie.
No bother, Cabbie, mate. Always a pleasure, mate.
And we'll catch you later on, mate. So thanks for a lot and see you later, everybody in the chat. We'll take it easy.
Have a good night.